While it's always nice to be the first one on the planet, Aune this time around delivers something that's unusually good for them. This is because Aune is a DAC amp company typically known for their desktop DACs, headphone amplifiers and other electronics, and not for headphones. So it was surprising to see how well the new SR7000 performs. This is a closed bag headphone with a dynamic driver inside, 50mm in size, and with a complex selection of new and innovative technologies. So let's see how Aune managed to deliver one of the best sounding closed back headphones right now. Starting with the case, because I want to get rid of this from my lap. This is the transport case. It looks really nice, very good for protecting the headphones. It is one of the best made headphone transport cases out there. You can't really damage it. It has a very nice cutout for the headphones to sit in. You also get two cables, one which is single-ended and looks like it's covered in a black textile material, and then the one that I've used the most, the balanced headphone cable, which is ended in a 4.4mm connector, and it is OFC or oxygen-free copper. The cable is great not just in the idea but also in how it works, because this is a cable that's very flexible and does not conduct handling noise. The headphones have a 3.5mm connector, so you can use any aftermarket cables you desire, but as this is a headphone priced at $599 or 599 euros, you are unlikely to want to purchase an expensive aftermarket cable. Typically at this price point, the most you would upgrade are the ear pads and eventually the headband, but that's also pretty rare. Now that we have just the headphones, we can study the beauty of the SR7000. This is a headphone that is green in color, has golden accents and a black headband. The headband comes with two levels, one which is the one that makes contact with your head, which is flexible, and a more solid skeleton frame that gives it strength and shape. The ear pads are unique, and so is the entire cup actually, because not only is the ear pad angled, the cup is angled, and then the driver is angled. Everything comes at an angle. If you look inside of the ear cup, you will see a very angled driver that's sitting in a very unusual position. This is all part of the way Aune designed the SR7000 so that you get the best sonic quality and the best performance with a closed back headphone. A lot of the design is revolving around the fact that those are closed back, and what that means is that they offer you a pretty good passive noise isolation, between 20 and 25 decibels of passive noise isolation depending on the frequency, and also they leak very little. Someone sitting in the same room as you will know what you're listening to, but it will not be very loud, so most people will be comfortable sitting next to you even if you blast death metal on a very loud volume. The craftsmanship level on the SR7000 is insane. Every single detail is taken care of. They look beautiful, they combine beautiful, there is no handling, creaking noise and such. I don't think my microphone will even record that kind of noise. It's absolutely silent, and that's beautiful. The headbands are much thicker in the back and they come with a very dense sponge inside, so they feel really high end. While wearing the Aune SR7000, I can feel the passive noise isolation. It's super good. The whole problem with closed back headphones is that they generally have a very small soundstage, they sound intimate, and they have a ton of distortion. This is because music comes both from the front of the driver, which goes directly into your ear, but also from the back of the driver, which typically bounces on the ear cup and then goes back into your ear. If you don't take any kind of caution, and if you don't construct the ear cup in such a way that they reflect the sound waves intentionally, you will end with a lot of distortion and the sound will just not be great, especially at louder volumes. You can get away with lower listening volumes, or you can do like HiFi did with the Audiophile, which uses a very complex inner shape that shapes the sound waves and which creates a very natural reverberation so that they simulate an open sound field. Aune did something similar with their SR7000 and they named this the Dragon Scale, which is pretty cool, I guess. The problem with the idea is that they use a complex set of technologies to achieve this, so they will be very hard to copy by anyone if they desire to implement something similar. First off, the angle of the driver, and we keep coming back to this because it's so angled that it's not sitting parallel to your ear. It's actually quite angled against your ear, so music comes as if it was coming from your front. Also, the entire ear cup places the driver somewhat below your ear and somewhat whoop, kind of like this. It's a very unique angle, to be honest. I have never seen this before. What this creates is a huge space for your ears. The wearing comfort is excellent because the whole headphone is quite lightweight too. At 380 grams, the SR7000 is one of the most comfortable headphones out there. Dense sponge, good headband, no hotspot while wearing them, everything is perfect. Of course, I'm here to tell you about the sound, and Aune SR7000 is a somewhat mid-centric headphone. They have a ton of emphasis on the mid-range, on voices, on instruments, and on actual musical information. They also sound quite wide, and not wide for a closed-back headphone. They sound wide. It's super nice. They also sound relaxed, smooth, and forgiving. You'll have a hard time feeding any kind of music into them that will sound fatiguing. In fact, nothing will sound fatiguing. Rings of Saturn, Infant Annihilator. Every single music style in this world sounds relaxed, smooth, and playful. It's euphonic with the SR7000. And a lot of unexpected things about it, because Aune did publish a frequency response curve which doesn't tell the whole story. In fact, it doesn't even tell the story. It just tells you a babble, because that frequency response measures a very limited bass response, while the actual headphone has a pretty punchy and strong bass. That frequency response is pretty natural for the rest of the frequency response, because they do have a mid-centric mid-4R sound. The upper mid-range is more emphasized, and also the treble is smooth and relaxed. It just rolls off softly, although there is treble extension up to 20 kHz. This results in a very smooth, very laid-back sound, and sounds pleasing. My ears are delighted with every single music style. For example, in a Rings of Saturn song, you will hear much more focus on the guitars and on how musical the guitars are than you will hear on screams or harshness or coarseness of the voice, and you'll barely hear any kind of cymbal crashes. SR7000 is an ideal headphone if you find most headphones fatiguing. It's so relaxed and so delightful to hear that you just feel right at home. They will make you relax and they will make you enjoy your music more. I don't think it is a perfect headphone, but I think it beats the vast majority of the competition in the price point. While most headphones in the price point tend to go for either too sharp or too dry sounding, this tends to be an issue because they want to be as resolving and as clear as possible. They tend to just not sound pleasing anymore in the process, and it's okay. I can understand that it's very hard to make a smooth sounding headphone that is still detailed. But this is what Aune managed to do. It took them the most complex geometry I've ever seen in a headphone, this driver angling. It also took them years of development to finish the SR7000, but they actually made it. The world's most interesting close-back headphone in this price range. There are high-end options if you cross the $1,000 boundary, but for their price point, SR7000 is basically perfect. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having fun. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, and if you are having fun, I hope you'll check out another video as well. Thank you so much, and I hope we'll see each other very soon. Bye bye.